This episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic is being brought to you by Wendy's. The news about Wendy's 4 for $4 meal just got even bigger. See how a choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT just changed the value game all over again. Meal includes the choice of a junior bacon cheeseburger or a crispy chicken BLT, 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and a drink. It's always fresh, never frozen, at a participating Wendy's for a limited time. Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. And now let's start the show.
First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of shit.
Sometimes my mama said, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay.
Are you drinking, Nate?
I don't know.
Are you drinking?
I don't even understand how you could even put Common and Bob Marley and Marvin Gaye. And even Marvin Gaye.
I'm saying, you know that, Lamont. Who's on your iPhone, iPad? Who's in your playlist right now that ain't saying niggas?
Maynard, I know you a little bit on the right. And Lamont, I know you got that country club lifestyle. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. It is Spud on the mic here. Marketing expert and record executive, my man Lamont Hayes from BWP Marketing, and political junkie Maynard Scales from SuburbanBlack.com, who has finally wrote a new blog post. We got a new blog post. When we get them, how many we get a year, Maynard?
Yo, man, you know what? We had like 3 this year. We had like 4 this year.
This is only this year.
Yeah, man, come on, you giving me a hard time, man.
Hey, man, I'm just asking, man. You know,
nah, don't ask, man. Don't be
you
asking.
were on there talking about PE and talking about Rakim, and you saying that your friends was calling you a punk because you wasn't smoking weed and you was drinking all kind of beers and wine coolers as a kid. I just was like, hey, I'm glad we got a new episode, a new blog post.
SuburbanBlack.com, SuburbanBlack.com.
Go to it, subscribe to it. You might not, get a blog post but every 3 months, but you damn sure will get some new information every now and then. Anyways, I want to thank Karen Dumas for allowing us to be on Friday on 9:10 a.m. We truly appreciate that. We got into a debate. Lamont, I just got to ask you, so you don't think, I just want to give you opportunity to be able to rectify this. You don't think that Drake is the hottest hip-hop artist out right now?
Listen, man, I'm still holding. I'm sticking to my guns, not literally, but I'm just not there yet, man. I think it's still a little premature.
Drake, More Life, 3 weeks in a row, number one, 3 weeks in a row.
Listen. You can try to do. It's not gonna work. No, the cake is still baking in the oven. Let him bake some more.
Who's the hottest out right now? Who's the hottest out right now?
I mean, I feel like it's still lukewarm. It's just now spring. It's not hot yet. You know what I'm saying? So let's just hold tight for a minute.
Oh, I'm just
not feeling it.
Oh, wait, I understand. You don't want to answer because next week is Easter. You got a problem with the Easter bunny. The Easter bunny ain't real.
Nope, it's not real.
So I understand. So you and your feelings about that. So you don't want to give Drake no love. I get it. I understand.
Oh, I'm busted.
It's all good.
Does Drake have to do with the Easter? I'm sorry. I'm lost.
Man, let's get into politics, man. Donald Trump could not stand the images of kids dying in Syria, which brought him to order a strike against Syria, quoting, when you kill innocent children, innocent babies, little babies, with a chemical gas that is so lethal that crosses many, many lines, behind the red line, many, many lines. And I'm here to tell you, the attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. It had a big impact on. I'm very emotional of the images of Syria. So I got to ask you, Maynard, did we need to get involved in what was going on with Syria, or did we just need to leave that alone?
Man, this is really a tough one because, I think if you just take it at first blush and you look at it with how you be like, yeah, we did the right thing. But I think at least the morning after, I was like, okay, that, you can't front on that. That looked like a real good look for a second. And there are a couple of reasons why. I'm going to go on a real good look for a second, and then I'm going to tell you some other stuff. But, that was a nice signal, so to speak, to say, yo, we just dropped 59 joints on Syria, North Korea.
Right.
You can mess around and get some of this. We dropped them. When you go out in the morning and you get $200 out the bank and you got to run around and do some stuff, and at the end of the day you got like 76 cents in pennies in your pocket or something, and you just throw them down, and you look around your house and you got 36 cents over in one room and 10 cents in the drawer, and the ashtray got 5 cents in it. We dropped them 59 joints on them like, yo, this is just some change, dude. You can have that. That's a good sign for North Korea to be like, oh, they just dropped 59 on him. We don't want none of that. You don't want no problem with me.
And then we sent the ship. Then we sent the ship over there and put the ship in position.
Right. That was on some Chance the Rapper. You don't want no problems with me type this. But then after all the reporting kind of comes down and all the other stuff, you got to be like, I'm not sure if this was really real right here. Not that, I'm not going to feed into the, he called Russia and Putin and Bashar Assad and Trump all got together on the phone and figured out how they can rig it up and blah, blah, blah. But really, you dropped them 59 joints and you ain't done no damage.
Right.
It's kind of like the old LL line. You couldn't bust a grape at a fruit in a fruit fight. I mean, they were using the daggone airfield that he supposedly bombed like the next day.
Right.
And so there's an issue. Like you need to go ahead and do something for real. Like go ahead and hit them where it hurts and let them know that that's not a good look. Then
So does this give Lamont one? I mean, because Lamont has been saying we're 79 days in. Lamont has been saying that Trump has been winning, and so does this give, Lamont a little bit credibility on Donald Trump winning?
I was prepared to give him a W with an asterisk, but now I'm taking it back and I'm just gonna give it a tie. It's not a dub. It's just a tie because
he did get Gorsuch in though, but he didn't really get Gorsuch in. I mean, but he got Gorsuch in. He's claiming that as his win.
And that's cool, but that's like saying you came in 4th place in the 3-man race.
Right.
You supposed to. You got the daggone Senate and you got the Senate on your team. The idea that you had to, they had to go to the nuclear option, which we knew it was going to happen. That's a low bar. That's supposed to happen. You had a vacancy. You got control of the Senate and the House. The House didn't have to have anything to do with it. You supposed to get that W. Don't. That's like saying, I woke up this morning, give me points.
Right.
I know that's Lamont's man.
I know but don't get all quiet on us, Lamont. Don't get all quiet on us.
Well, no, here's the deal, man. And I want to make sure that, I don't want to offend anyone and I don't want to make light
that
of what
means
happened.
Somebody about to get offended then. Somebody about to get offended.
No, here's the deal. Here's the deal. It's like
probably gonna be me.
So in Syria, nah. In Syria, and I say this to George. I'm not George. Good God, I'm on the wrong president. I say this to Donald J. and company, is that what happened in Syria, which I don't know if it's hundreds of thousands of miles away or whatever it is, but 80 people were gassed. Some were children, some were adults. I think that was a number that I just read in the post because I wanted to make sure I said this correctly. 80. But where were we? We're in April of 2017. Already got 75 shooting victims in Chicago, and 12 of the 75 are dead. In 2016, I had 324 shooting victims. 36 of those guys are dead. I mean, and let's not really talk about the kids that are just in Flint that are drinking that dirty, nasty water. So my thing is, I've read that each tomahawk that was fired was
1.4.
Yeah, 1.4 million.
Right.
I'm not a math smith.
Just call it 60 million just to be safe.
Yeah, let's round it out to 6 M's, 60 M's. I'm like, yo, my dude, like, and
that's real conservative. That's real.
Yeah. So can we get the water fixed? I mean, can we figure out how we handle some of the gun violence and some of the homicides we going on right here while we're out here going around trying to police the world, you know what I'm saying, in that particular space. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to feel insensitive, but, and when I saw it, I was like, wow, that's not good. But again, I think about those kids in Chicago or in Detroit or in Cleveland or in Baton Rouge, you know what I'm saying, or in Little Haiti. I mean, it's so much that we need to be doing on this side, man, that, I'm almost a little desensitized to a degree.
Well, so, I think that was one of the things, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, man, and sorry to cut you off, Lamont, but I think that's one of the things that President Barack Obama was saying. He was saying, I mean, he wasn't trying to be insensitive to the situation neither, but he was saying actually putting troops there, there's so many layers, and we can mitigate is what, President Obama was saying, but to put troops there or to actually send an attack. I mean, there's just so many different layers, and I don't know. Again, man, this is where you come in. He's basically saying it may not be enough in order for us to be able to go in. And the civil war aspect of it in Syria is still going to remain unless you go in and actually have a conversation with Russia and, Syria and so forth and so on. Am I right on that?
Yeah, and there's another wrinkle. And somebody said this to me today, and it was like, that was the funniest thing I heard. And they were like, you know that Syria and ISIS are at each other's throat, right? Mm-hmm. Syria is fighting ISIS. And so what's the one gift that you can give ISIS? Bomb Syria, right? ISIS is our enemy, and Syria is doing something wrong, so we bomb Syria, and ISIS is sitting there saying, "Thank God somebody did it." Right? So there's another piece. This is the paradoxical thing that exists here. This is how things are all screwed up. Donald Trump obviously labeled or listed Syria in his Muslim bans both times. Right. So these people, the pretty little babies, the beautiful little children of God that he was talking about that should never be harmed, they just trying to live. Right. And they want to get away from this. And you're saying, no, stay your tails right there in Syria and suck on that gas. Right. Right. So
now that was insensitive.
That's what he did. That was really insensitive, man. Come on, man. We have been talking about sensitivity all day, my brother. Let's come on now. The scab is still.
You calling the HR department on me or something, man? What are you doing, man?
No, G, I'm just telling you, man. The scab isn't healed yet, brother. So come on now.
But that's the message, and in fact, your girl delivered that message this weekend.
Oh.
Hillary said, you can't on one hand say we don't want you Syrian refugees who are just trying to live, who are just trying to escape a horrible regime, who are just trying to make a better life for yourself. You can't tell them on one hand, stay right where you are, and on the other hand, bomb the place that they are in. And say that you trying to make it good, and that's the whole paradox that's occurring here, where, so I think there could possibly be some learning, and this is where I'm gonna give him the asterisk. It showed some strength. I don't know how much real strength. I think he could have been stronger, and done something more substantial. And showed that to China and North Korea, to let North Korea know, yo, you don't want no problem here, homie. And at the same time, maybe since there is no true Muslim ban, because it's been, peeled back by the courts, maybe he might learn something and say, you know what, we need to do something for these people.
Let me ask you
I don't know if that's going to happen, but maybe, hopefully, something might happen.
Let me go back to you, Lamont, real quick and ask you this. So the president's motto is not giving people information on when he's going to strike. So is this effective, or is this, not effective? Is it stupid for him not to allow people to know when he's going to strike, or is this an effective way to govern, to say, I'm not that, and that's been his motto, I'm not going to tell nobody, and that's been the problem. We giving people our secrets and giving people our signs and telling people when we're going to strike and so forth and so on. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to wake up one morning and I'm just going to say, yep, go in and bomb them. Is that an effective way to govern, or do we need more of a strategy, or does it need to be more thought out?
I mean, again, I'm not a general, I'm not a military guy, but it feels like what he's saying is right. But again, the problem is the messenger, not the message. It could be like, I just feel like Donald Trump would just be able to mess up what my mother would call a soup sandwich. And I always used to be like, Mama, what's a soup sandwich? You can't make. Yeah, that's right, baby. No such thing as a soup sandwich. So I just feel like, again, that Donald would just mess up any and everything. But theoretically, what he's saying is right, because if I'm at war or I have some sort of adversary, I don't know if I want to tell him what my moves are. You know what I mean? So it's like, it feels right and it sounds right. But again, Donald's delivery is it's just bad, man. It's just all bad. I just don't. Only thing I'm looking at is the how the guys that's locked down, they just mark off each day on the calendar, bro. We just marking the days off. We just trying to hold on till it's time to get somebody else in the chair, man. Because this guy, You know, he really could. He can blow this whole thing up, man, really, really quickly. Because again, and manager, you can help me on this. What he did, he was supposed to have congressional approval, correct?
Mm-hmm. That's the debatable part. The president of the United States has the leverage to use what they call a preemptive strike, and that is without congressional approval. In addition to that, you may have heard this term if you listen to the Sunday Talkers. It's called the AUMF, which is an authorization for use of military force. And so Barack did this, and Trump is doing this, and the circumstances are not exactly the same, where there was already what we call an AUMF, or authorization for use of military force, on the books for a previous president or a previous incident. And they say, hey, you know, it's kind of like, I'm only doing this under this authority that was already there. So, you know, Barack kind of played in that space a little bit, and it was okay in certain circumstances. And Trump may be trying to use a similar trick that might not have the same space and leverage, but that's a tricky question. I'm not an expert in that area, but that's a tricky scenario.
We counting down the days, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move on to hip hop. Lamont, Tupac was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame over the weekend. So, is this a good look for Tupac? Is it too early or is it overdue?
I mean, honestly, I don't really know how to feel, because I personally, I don't know if I have, you know, enough respect for what they call the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I mean, like, what does it mean? You know what I mean? So is it like, you know, the estate gets another plaque? I mean, you know, is it about what we're doing in order to celebrate Tupac that it has to be sanctioned by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, I'm not there. Now, I'm also going to say this, and this may offend some, although I do.
You're being very offensive tonight.
Yeah, it's just in my bones. I mean, I do think that Tupac was a wonderful, you know, not only person, human being. I really think he cared about his people. I think he was a great musician. But if I was on an island and I only had to choose one, I got to go with Ready to Die, baby. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm happy for Tupac. I get it. But I just don't know if I should feel overjoyed. I mean, there was a lot of backlash. You know, we got to touch on T.I.
Wait a minute. Do you not feel overjoyed because he got in, or do you not feel overjoyed because of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Because those are two different things. I want to make sure, because I don't need no Pac fan coming after us. The movie's coming out. Troy Ave has already got, you know what I'm saying, the Tupac fans in an uproar. So I just want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, we're clear. So you're not feeling Tupac being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, or you're not feeling the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Well, I think it's really one and the same, because to me, Tupac is not rock and roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
but
almost
neither's
like
NWA, and neither is Run DMC.
And once again, my point exactly. So I think we just have to be careful when we have these institutions that we're so excited about, that we're being accepted upon. You know how they said, I forgot what artist it was, is that, you know, they were more overjoyed getting a Soul Train award or a BET award or a hip hop award than they were getting a Grammy, because they just felt like it was something that was more, that belonged more to us as a genre of or a supporter of the music, where the majority of the people that may participate in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they may not be Tupac fans, you know what I mean? Or even really NWA fans. So I just don't know if that validation is needed. I mean, it may feel good, and that's just to me personally. I mean, I'm not going to sit up and watch 3 hours on HBO at the ceremony just so I can see, I think what it was when they put NWA in there. I was like, I don't want to watch this. This is not important to me. And again, that's just me personally. So, again.
Maynard, too early or overdue?
Can Tupac just be in the Hall of Fame? Can he just accept that award? I mean, I know he's passed, but can he have it and let's just be happy for him?
Right.
I mean, the man. Why? Listen, Lamont, if I said, you know what, Lamont, I owe you $37, you'd be like, you don't owe me $37. Would you take the $37 and just be like, oh, thank you, I appreciate it? No,
I wouldn't take it. No, because
then you're just gonna miss out on $37, my dude. You're gonna miss out on some money. But all I'm saying is this: that, listen, if somebody wanted to honor you, even if you were in a different space, there is a level of respect that they are extending to you. if they said like, "Yo, we want to give you the
we want to give Lamont the Jack the Rapper Award for 2017. You not gonna take it?
I'm down with Jack the Rapper. You know what I'm saying? And for those that don't know, Jack the Rapper was Spud, help me. Wasn't he also a radio personality?
Jocko back in Atlanta days.
Yeah, but I was really introduced to the whole Jack the Rapper via the conventions that they used to have. It was a very big thing in the hip hop community. You know, the Jack the Rapper convention. So I mean, if I got to go between Jack the Rapper and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'm going with Jack the Rapper, bro. That's just what it is.
You don't think that it's an honor that somebody else says, you like, put it like this. You are actor in America, and then the British people say for their British acting Hall of Fame or whatever, like, yo, we want to recognize you. You'd be like, yo, I'm not British, so I don't want that honor.
No. And here's another thing too. It may be different if the brother was still with us, and there may be some sort of way that he can, you know, and this might sound superficial, that he can capitalize off of it, that he can, you know, extend his career. But he's gone. Mama's gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you know what they say about the flowers when they're living, you know, that whole thing about give it to them, whatever.
David Bowie just won, you know what I'm saying, what, 10, 16 Grammys or whatever, and he's gone. You still got to get him. So if Biggie's next in line, you don't want to see Big. What's different?
That's different.
What's different?
I'll be in Cleveland in the front row, and if Big get in.
So now we get it. So you ain't on Pop.
It's a little bias going on. And look, I ain't on the low, being an East Coaster, I ain't mad at that bias. But yeah,
I'm front row. I'll be in Cleveland.
Bias right there.
Yeah, it's okay.
You know what? I remember being in your office a long time ago, and you had a Tupac and Biggie poster up when the East-West was really going on. And now I clearly remember that your Biggie poster was slightly bigger than your Pac poster. Now I understand why. So anyway, let's move on. So T.I., he tried it. Bless his heart. He had on the leather vest that Tupac wore. You know, he had to defend himself on social media. You saw the vest. Lamont, I mean...
Man, don't laugh. We rolling with Clifford.
I mean, was he out of line or was he on point?
I mean, I think he gave it a shot, man. But I just think something you just gotta leave alone. And I think, you know, if we could Monday morning quarterback it, you know, he just probably would have put on some Aku and kept it moving. You know what I mean? But I knew. I mean, we all know the energy, what he was trying to do and how he was trying to do it. But it's like, again, that's one of those things where Tupac, he's passed on. So he is in this whole iconic status that you got to, you know, be very, very careful. And I'll give you an example. I don't know why this just came to me. I was very disappointed with the Prince tribute when Bruno Mars did it. You feel what I'm saying? Some people were like, oh, he did a great job. I think it was the Grammys or whatever the hell it was. And I'm like, oh, but I'm like, yo, that's Prince, bro. Like, you got to really be careful, you know what I'm saying, that you don't, you know, with that kind of thing. And I thought it was horrible. So I
was more offended by Madonna doing the tribute than Bruno Mars.
Well, that too. I mean, all of them. I just thought they all was whack. I mean, I thought, you know, you just gotta, I don't know, you gotta let him, his original. So you mean to tell me that Janelle Monáe's performance of Prince tribute was better than Bruno Mars? Well, here's the deal now. Here's where.
Is that right?
Whoa.
Racism.
Wait. Now, here's a little difference with Janelle Monáe. Here's where she gets a pass. And I didn't know this part, is that actually...
On the booty out pants?
Yeah. Actually, Prince was the one who took Janelle Monáe in and gave her to Big Boy. And that's actually how she got her start in the record business. So she had a very... And I want to not... I'll just say close. I was going to say intimate, but it wasn't like that from what I understand. Is that she had a genuine relationship with that brother. And... So she gets a little bit of a different pass. You feel what I'm saying? But Bruno Mars, he's whack. He's whack, juice all over.
Wait a minute. Bruno Mars hot.
Bruno Mars is kind of killer, homie.
Mars is hot.
He's kind of killer right there.
Listen, man, both of y'all can, I don't know if you got cactus coming out.
I'm not choking on no cactus. Yo, Bruno Mars is hot.
No, I'm good, son. I'm good. I am GOOD. I'm good.
Maynard, here is the problem. The problem is that, you know, and I say this because I know that you always like to go back to 1982. The problem is that T.I. was defending to the newer generation people who did not understand why he had the vest on, because the newer generation on social media basically was trying to clown him because they did not understand that it came from Pac. And he said, I guess you had to be there. Y'all young, forever communicating, over opinionated MFs got shit to say always. When Biggie, shit went left because a MF, from y'all generation forgot the words, y'all had a effing fit. Some real N-words with real love in their hearts get up and dedicate themselves to honor the legacy of a true American hip-hop rock and roll legend. That would make him and his family proud. It's some negative-ish, well, I could say shit. There's some negative shit to be said about that as well. So I get, T.I. I mean, the vest wasn't fly on T.I., but I do have to give him his A for effort for at least acknowledging and trying to, make it happen. But he was trying to express to the younger generation, like, no, I'm representing Pac for real.
Can I ask a quick question, though? What happened to the T.I. that wrote the letter to President Obama talking about all these beautiful things and us trying to be better? And now he out here, just because he got shot at a little bit on social media, now he out here MF this and N-word that and y'all F y'all blah. Come on, man. Come on. Don't you want to just hold hands, T.I.? Don't you want to sing? I wish we could teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Don't you want to give him a Coke?
You've been real disrespectful tonight, man.
I'm just saying.
Sensitivity level is on 10 right now.
How can he write this letter, this beautiful letter to Barack about, ascending to his new, higher, enlightened self, and then just because he takes on a little bit of water on social media, which that's what's going to happen. It doesn't. If you come out and say I love Jesus, somebody going to say you don't really love Jesus. If you come out and say I don't love Jesus, somebody going to say you lying. You love Jesus. So you got to understand when you out here on social media, people going to come at you. You a millionaire. You got to be able to handle that better, my dude. Don't come out here and then hit up people in the industry and or fans with a whole bunch of MF this and MF that. Come on, be the I'm writing letters to President Barack Obama T.I. Be that T.I.
Well, speaking of the newer generation, Troy Ave went on the Breakfast Club to promote his new album. Compared himself personally and professionally to Tupac, claiming that he is the new Tupac. Brand new album is called Dope Boy Troy, New Pac. Lamont, this disrespectful to Pac, or I don't know. I don't even know if I should be asking you. According to you, Tupac should even be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I don't even know. I should be asking you that. So is this disrespectful? Or is Troy Ave the new Tupac?
No. Let me clarify. I didn't say that. I just said, me personally, I'm not excited. I don't see the being overjoyed of being accepted by the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, Troy Ave is officially a nut job. I saw that interview and I damn near fell out my chair. I almost wanted to be like, because I know some of his people, I was gonna call him like, yo, you need to get your man because he's looking like a clown. He's looking like Ronald McDonald right now. Like, because here's the thing about Tupac, is that Tupac had, not only did he have records with substance, but Tupac had smashes, bro. Like Tupac had, or has, iconic records. He was in a part of hip hop history that was, and Maynard, help me out. Would you put a little bit him in the golden era of what we call hip hop?
I think he is the nexus of the West Coast hip hop. Like he brought, like before. If we were partying here on the East, like that was it, and nobody was really getting money. Then all of a sudden, even though we know that there were some financial struggles in Tupac's life and whatever, all of a sudden they made hip hop look like, damn, they doing it like that.
Yes,
These N-words is killing it.
Right. So like you said, he gave us a different look of the West Coast. And at the end of the day, he's iconic. So Troy, I feel you, bro. I know you got.
What difference did Tupac give other than what NWA was doing? Other than the revolutionary part. We all know that, Pac was, no different than T.I. Revolutionary one day, gangster the next day. Same person.
Nah, I'm sorry.
Nah, I disagree.
What? Yeah, T.I. ain't on that level.
What do you mean T.I.'s not on that level? So T.I.
He's not on a Tupac level. He ain't on a
I'm
Tupac
not saying he's
level.
on a Tupac level, but he cannot go and write a letter to President Barack Obama and then come back out and do, money talks or either, talk about, people on social media. Pac was the same way. He'll go and say, hit him up. He'll go do hit him up and then come back and do Brenda's Got a Baby. Oh, he didn't. That not in that order, but you get my point. Order.
But I think what people know and love about Tupac on the things that are deep that he's done, T.I. has never been to that level of depth that Tupac has been.
No, I'm not comparing the two.
You did.
No, I'm saying this is similarities there. That Pac was one way one day, and he's a revolutionary one day, and he was a gangster another day. T.I. doing the same thing. He's a revolutionary one day, and he's a gangster the other day.
That's a classic example of comparison.
Okay.
But I'll move past that. Now, to get to NWA, the NWA thing happened in the golden era, 86, 87, and then the West Coast, and that was like, that opened the door for the West. But then the West was empty. Other than Digital Underground, we didn't have like a big, huge smash coming out of the West. And Pac just set it on fire for the West.
I don't think so. I think Drake set it on fire. I think Cube set it on fire. And then came Pac. But I don't know if I can get that to Pac.
I think Pac. So if you had to go back and look and say who was the biggest artist from the West between, say, 88 and 94, who would it be?
It's got to be NWA, but you can't put just one person in that scenario.
No, it's not NWA.
But that's still a group. I don't know if you can. If we're talking, that,
it would be Ice Cube. After that, it's gonna be Dr. Dre. Then it's gonna be Snoop. Then it's gonna be Pac. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's put it. Wait. Hold on. Let me put it in chronological order. NWA. All right. Then they broke up. Okay. Then let's go. Ice Cube. All right. America's Most Wanted. Wicked. Predator. Then let's go. After that, then Dre leaves. Chronic.
Hold on. Back up. It was America's Most. Then it was Death Certificate.
Oh, Death Certificate. You're right. Then it was Predator. Sorry. Thank you.
Wicked.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry very much. I apologize. Then Dre leaves. All right. And then it's the Chronic. The Chronic? And then it's Snoop Dogg, Doggy Style. Then it's Tupac. You can't say that Pac. No, Pac didn't set the West Coast on fire. I don't know about that one. Now I will kind of agree with you that in between that Dre Chronic, I guess that Dre Chronic, Snoop Dogg, Puffy brought that the East Coast back, and okay, I might give you that in the Biggie part, and the Ready to Die came, and then Puffy emerged, and so okay, maybe, but I'm giving that to Dr. Dre, man. I'm giving that to NWA, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube.
So this is the thing. But look, go back and look at that Vibe cover, right? That when Death Row was on the cover, that cover would not have been that cover. It was when you look at that cover, it was Suge and it was
Dre,
Pac,
Snoop,
and Dre and Snoop. But that cover would have been still complete without Snoop on that cover right there. That cover would not be complete at all without Pac. Pac is he's much bigger than the rest of the West Coast. He could have came in 5 years later and still would have overshadowed the rest of the West.
So can I interject here? And I just want to make sure I'm right. So we do know that. Make sure we got this right. That Tupacalypse Now came out before the Chronic, right? You will agree, right? Right. So
before the Chronic.
Before the Chronic. So you had
a huge record.
Right. You had
and to me, Britney's Got a Baby.
Whoa, fall back. Let me breathe. All right. To me, one of my favorite Tupac songs was not Brenda's Got a Baby. It was When My Homies Call.
Yeah, but that's a Detroit record, though.
What are you talking about? What do you mean?
If My Homies Call, that's a Detroit record.
I was down south when that was
that's
popping,
not a Detroit record. That's
a record.
That's nation. That thing is nationwide. That thing was
ain't no
killing
nationwide
it.
record.
Yes, it was. Yo, man, I wasn't in Detroit in 91. I was in Virginia in 91.
I was in Tennessee. I was. Yeah. All I'm saying
Spud, you gotta get out your own way here, homie.
Yeah.
When my homie's car is a huge smash hit. Nationwide.
It's a smash hit. I'm not disputing that. Not disputing it's a smash hit. I don't know if it's a nationwide smash hit, but it's a smash hit.
What?
Anyway, go ahead. Finish your point. I'm done.
So here's my point. What I'm saying is that, in my opinion, Tupac set it up for there to be a death row to crime.
No!
He set it up. That's just me.
We're having this conversation. You mean to tell me that Dre did not set? I mean, when the Chronic? Come on, son.
Tupac said, "Come on, y'all, follow me. I got this. Let me do my thing. Y'all get ready. Follow up behind me."
No.
I would say this, and I'm not as far over where Lamont is, but I'm leaning in that direction. I would say this, Pac, even when he did All Around the World with Digital Underground, people recognize, oh, there's something special about that dude. And the first person to go get him when he went to the joint, Suge was like, I gotta get him. That's like saying like you the Miami Heat a couple years ago, and you knew you had a championship, like they already had NWA, that was a championship, but they were like, yo, we need a championship real quick. And they went and got Chris Bosh, but they were like, LeBron is free? We got to get LeBron.
No,
he went and
but that's already your point. Your point is that they already had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh.
But they
already had Snoop and Dre. So
I said that, Spud. I said NWA came out, and then it was a space where it was kind of empty. That's what I said. And so Dwayne Wade won a championship, but then you're gonna remember for a couple of years, Miami games were like they were giving tickets away in church flyers. They were begging people to come to the game because they were losing. And so you look at the players in the game on the West that were doing anything. Cube was decent. I love the Death Certificate album. I love America's Most.
Cube was killer.
No, those albums aren't seminal. Those albums don't ascend to like, oh my God, that's one of the greatest joints ever.
The Chronic? America's Most Wanted does not ascend to one of the greatest albums ever. I know you're not going to say that.
No, it doesn't. I'm
hanging up the phone. I'm hanging up.
If you are prepared to say, there's 20 of them.
20 of what?
20 of the greatest albums ever, or whatever the case may be. America's Most is nice, but it might be 24.
What?
Yeah, I'm serious. Think about it. You got Illmatic, for instance. There's so many albums, and you have to look at Tupacalypse Now, and I'm not a Pac fan.
Tupacalypse Now is that's not even a classic album. You can't even say that's a classic album
because
that
is a classic album.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, it is a classic album because when that dropped, all of a sudden people were like, that dude, there was something special about Tupac that was just like, he cut through. And Cube didn't have that cut through capability. Snoop's first album I think Doggy Style to me is a bigger cut through than America's Most.
Yes, Spud. And I need this on record.
I would agree with that.
No, and that's what I'm saying. I agree with Maynard 100% because I have a special kind of way I feel about Ice Cube. And by no stretch of the imagination, I think Ice Cube is one of those guys that he needs that group element. You know what I'm saying?
Are y'all kidding me right now?
Yo, I'm just telling you, dude, that's just my opinion.
I need both of you to do me a favor right now. I need you, Lamont, I need you to separate the Kettle One from the orange juice and just drink the orange juice. Maynard, get off the Knob Creek tonight. Y'all are not telling me that Ice Cube is just okay. America's Most Wanted is just okay and it's not a classic album?
Yo, America's Most was killer until
Not
Tupac.
until.
I mean, let me say this. Mariah Carey was the bomb. Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, they were the bomb. And then Beyonce came along and you were like, Mariah who?
Yeah.
It's just Tupac just took it to a whole other level. I can't front. America's Most is one of my favorite joints. Death Certificate I love Death Certificate way more than I love America's Most, and I love America's Most. But when Tupac came out, and believe me, I desperately wanted to hate Tupac. But I was like, my homie's called. I mean, that shit was banging. You couldn't hate it.
And Spud, actually, you don't want to hear this, but Tupac was a bigger star than Ice Cube.
Oh yeah,
Ice Cube is a star.
Ice Cube is a star. I don't know.
And that's what I'm saying. He was just bigger. He just overshadowed that thing.
Yes, all day. That's it, and it's okay. It's time for a break, man.
It is. It's been time for a break 20 minutes ago because this was not even a part of the show notes, none whatsoever. Anyway, ladies, we're going to a break right now. We'll be right back. When we come back, I'm sorry that we went long. When we come back, we're going to talk to Charles Hopgood. We're going to tell you how you can fix your credit. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back right after this with Three Black Guys with a Mic. Ladies, Easter is coming up. Now, we all know that if we don't go to church but one time a year, it's definitely Easter Sunday. And we want you to look good on Easter Sunday. So, thank you so very much to our newest sponsors, our friends at Touch of Beauty Hair Extensions, because they're giving you the hookup just in time for Easter. Touch of Beauty Hair Extensions provides premium version Remy hair frontals, closures, and hair extensions. Visit them online today at touchofbeautyhairext.com and place your order just in time for Easter. Now, you can order from their Touch of Beauty collection or their exclusive Southeast Asian collection. Now, because you listen to this podcast, ladies, because you listen to Three Black Guys with a Mic, Touch of Beauty Hair Extensions is giving you 25% off of your order. All you have to do is enter the coupon code Easter25 when you place your order, and you get 25% off. Again, that's Easter25, and you get 25% off of your order. You ain't got to worry about standing in the line at the beauty supply store. You ain't got to worry about if your stylist picked up the hair or none of that stuff. All you got to do is go online and order. It's going to come right to your door. www.touchofbeautyhairext.com. Go to our friends at Touch of Beauty Hair Extensions and get yourself the hookup for Easter for 25% off. Again, that's www.touchofbeautyhairext.com. There is nothing more sexier than seeing a classy, sexy, pretty, beautiful, long hair flowing woman puffing on a cigar. There ain't nothing more flyer than that. So ladies, if you like cigars or if you just want to up your game, then you need to check out Exquisite Reserve. The new chapter of Exquisite Reserve has begun, and all Exquisite Reserve cigars are handmade with the finest tobaccos from the Dominican Republic. Now, ladies, if you like mild cigars because you don't like all that smell or you don't want to be coughing, they got mild cigars as well. It's all good. But they also got medium and full-body cigars for the more aged and the more mature cigar smoker. They got Connecticut, Sumatra, Sun-Grown, Carrillo, Maduro, and aged Dominican wrappers. Now, we've had the pleasure of enjoying Exquisite Reserve's line Signature One, the Royal Excellent, the La Victoria, the Triumph, the Genesis, and the 1991. These are all great cigars. All great cigars. So, ladies, if you want to step your game up with your man, you need to go to exquisitereserve.com. Get him a nice cigar. Y'all can sit on the back porch, or y'all can go to the beach, or y'all can just chill, or go to a cigar lounge and hang out with an Exquisite Reserve cigar. With all styles and sizes from Robusto, Corona, Churchill, Torpedo, and Gordo. Log on now to exquisitereserve.com and place an order for you and your man. And follow him on Facebook and Instagram under Exquisite Reserve and on Twitter at Exquisite Reserve without the E. So ladies and fellas, if you want a nice cigar, if you want to up your game, ladies, and up your sexiness up, and fellas, if you want to have your girl looking a lot more fly these days, introduce your lady to Exquisite Reserve. It's more than cigars. It's a lifestyle. So welcome back, ladies. Welcome back to Three Black Guys with a Mic. We are honored. We are joined by my man, Charles Hopgood. Do we call you Hop? Do we call you Charles? Do we call you Mr. Hopgood? What do we call you? CEO of Show and Improve Credit Repair. How are you, my friend? What do we call you?
I'm wonderful and amazing. You can just call me Hop. That's perfect.
Hop, it's amazing. It's a small world because I stalked your Facebook page, and you live in Oklahoma City. You're from Oklahoma. I used to live in Tulsa, but I saw you in the picture with my old boss, Terry Monday. I used to work for Mr.
Wow.
Perry. Yeah, I used to work for
That's
Mr.
my
Perry.
mentor, man. Before my major was business, Terry gave my first radio shot. And Mr. Perry gave me my first job. I'm still cool with Mr. Perry to this day. He's had me on open mic a few times.
Oh man,
He's amazing.
And Mr. Perry, there's nobody in the world, black man who owns a radio station, but anybody who is an owner of a radio station, there's nobody like Mr. Perry. So shout out to my man Terry Monday. Good people.
Man. There's nobody like Terry. Me and Terry went to the same college. We had the same alma mater at Langston University.
Wow.
So I was a communication major, and let me tell you a little quick story about Terry. We were our college was very poor, very small. So I was also the head DJ for our college. Terry, before he got on with Mr. Perry, and he was working for the Cat and KJ 103, Terry would give me free promo records, and I would come up to the city so I could have records to spin for the parties at Langston.
Wow.
So Terry is very much my mentor. Terry and Jammin' J. Lamont.
Oh, Jammin' J. Lamont. I know Jammin' J. Lamont as well.
Yeah, those two are definitely my radio mentors, man. Those are my guys.
Well, yeah, I'm going to cut this off, real quick, Hop, because, Maynard and Lamont, they'll get jealous because, I take up all the conversation. So they get all jealous of me. So, we have to catch up on another time. But we truly appreciate you, joining us today. We thank you so very much for the education and the knowledge that you want to drop on our listeners. It is truly important for people to understand credit. I want to start off by asking, in regards to what is the real way of building your credit? Because you see so many different advertisements out here, for, you can go from 485 to 750 in 2 weeks. I mean, there's so many different, I don't want to call them scams, but there's so many different advertisements out here about the ways to build your credit. What is the true foundation in actually restoring your credit or rebuilding it?
I'm glad you asked that. There's a lot of predatory credit card companies, like what is it, Bank One and Credit One, and let me see, what's the other one? First Premier. Mm-hmm. They offer all these credit cards account, and what I call them urban cards. And the reason why I call them that because they don't give you they give you a limit of maybe $300 or more or less, which is not going to help you build your credit score. The proper way to build a healthy credit file is to after you go through the restoration. When a lender is looking at your profile, they don't want to see you having a whole bunch of addresses. And what a lot of people don't realize is if you went to college or if you had a job or if you ever used your aunt's address, your mother's address, or anyone, and we've all done it, the bureaus keep every one of those addresses. So if I'm a bank manager and you're looking to borrow money from me, I'm seeing all these addresses and all these telephone numbers and all these job titles. You don't look stable to me. See, the funny thing about it is in other communities, other than the urban community, they're teaching this in schools, telling people how the proper way to build this. So if you were to come to me and say, Charles, look, me and my wife are trying to get a mortgage. How do I build my after we restore you? We would clean up all of your old addresses. We would then, most of us have a friend or family member that has a healthy credit card that they keep at a low balance. Most of us do. So we would ask that person to put us on as a piggyback and add us as an authorized user. Now, we don't want the card. We just want the history of the card. That's going to give us the foundation. It's going to give us the score. Once we receive the score and we're able to go in the bank and ask for a favorable credit card based upon our merit, our job, and our how much we make, they're going to give us a nice card with a lower interest rate. So we take that stepping stone and we build it from there. You get a credit card, then you receive a low interest car loan, and then you keep that open for anywhere from 6 to 8 months, and you turn around and get a small line of credit with that same company. Now you have 3 of the major things lined out for you. So then when you do decide to go get a home loan, you're going to get a favorable loan, but you have to have those 3 things: a nice credit card account with no more than 30% charged, mm-hmm. a nice auto loan, and a nice line of credit. Those 3 things you have to have. They are a mainstay and a must. to get any type of mortgage whatsoever.
Real quick, when building your credit, though, what is or is there a benefit of secure credit cards, or do you really
Absolutely
need to do
not.
it with okay, so there's no benefit of a secure
Now,
credit
let me tell
card?
you, the benefit of a secure credit card, it benefits the company that writes them.
Oh,
Because
okay.
of predatory lenders.
Okay.
They're not going to give you a big limit because they're not going to go out there that deep for you, but they're going to charge you fees. And every time that you're late, a classic example, Capital One, you can be a week late and they will charge you a $50 fee. Now, it's within 30 days with a regular, like a lower interest, like a more favorable interest rate card. You can be 28 days late and they won't charge you a fee. Capital One, if you're 2 to 3 days late, even a week, $50. That gets to adding up. And then another card, Cabela's. You've seen the Cabela's card. The Cabela card, if you don't pay it within a week, they add another $75 to that, to your bill. And you will literally pay your bill and that fee. If you don't pay that fee along with the bill that's due, it will cause you to go into being late, over 30 days late, and it will drop the score. I had a client that had that happen to them. So what we were able to do was once we repaired her credit and restored her, we took those predatory cards and we did them on a zero. We did a balance transfer to a 0%. So no, I would definitely recommend against those type of cards. Most of us have family or friends that we can use to do a piggyback so we can get our own cards at a lower interest rate.
So, Hop, you've used a couple of terms, and some of us know what those terms mean, and there are going to be people out there who don't quite understand. We do recognize that the word predatory typically would sound bad, and we heard through the 05 through maybe 2013 or 14 about subprime and predatory mortgages or predatory lenders. Can you explain a little bit more about what you mean when you say predatory?
Okay. The credit bureaus are not the government. Contrary to popular belief, a lot of us think they're the government. They are not, but they are. They do have to follow government laws. The credit bureaus are a company. They are a business. They are a multi-billion-dollar business that sell your information on a daily basis. The people like the Capital Ones, the First Premiers, and the bank ones, and the credit ones, they seek a certain type of information based upon the demographic, the amount of money, and the amount of bad credit that a person has. Then they send you out this pre-approval thing, makes you feel warm and toasty. You fill it out, and they tell you, congratulations, you've been approved for $300. But it comes with all these stipulations that if you move at a certain manner that's based upon their number crunches or their eggheads that say, okay, based upon this person doesn't pay their bills on time, you're going to get this much fees over this many years. And they're going to be so happy that you gave them the card, they're going to pay these fees. And then if they do default on the $300, you've gotten so much money from the fees that it's going to be a windfall for you. Then you can turn around and collect against them or sell that account to a collection agent for a small amount and still get the money, but they won't be able to do them another one of your partners, which is the First Premier. So it's all a game. It's all a game, and it's not designed for the person that signs up for it.
And so as people start kind of considering, I'll say this. So I have, two wonderful parents, college educated people. And, I had a college degree, and I remember when I moved to Detroit and I was making 6-figure income and I was ready to buy a house, I realized I had no earthly idea what that meant. I didn't understand my credit. And if someone said you got a 300 or 800 or a 15,000 credit score or whatever the numbers may have been, I didn't understand what that meant. Can you kind of share with us, what's bad, what's fair, what's good, what's good, what's great, and what's excellent credit, what those kind of look like?
Okay. I've seen a few 800s out there, but there is 800 credit scores. I've restored people to 800 credit scores, as you can see on my Facebook page. A 700 credit score can get the same favorable rating on a mortgage as a 620 credit score, a 640. It's all about the cleanliness of the file. A lot of times, some of the people doesn't have a full file, but they have a 660 credit score and it's perfect credit. So many times I hear my clients, I want to be a 700. I want to be a 700. Well, you can't be a 700 if you've never paid anyone. After restoration, I've had clients that have been in the threes, and after the 300 credit scores. And after we restored them, they're a 570, but they have no bad credit on there. Well, I want to be a 700. Well, you can. So here's the thing. Once you have a layered credit score with those three things I said prior, and even if your score is like a 640 or 650, that still is a favorable rate based upon a bank to loan you what they need to loan you. As long as everything else is in order, which is your pay history, your job history, as well as the cleanliness of your file, it's not clogged up with a whole bunch of addresses. All of these things are factors when they're loaning money. For instance, if I came to your radio station and say, look, I have my FCC license, but don't call me here at this number after this hour. You might have to mail them. You're going to mail my check here, but I live here, and all my paperwork needs to go somewhere else. As an employer, you're going to look at so many of these avenues and be like, well, this guy might not be a stable employee for me to be putting my stock in, for him to be representing my radio station. Do you agree?
Yeah.
That's the same way the banks work. And the funny thing about the credit system, they can literally know what kind of minority you are based upon your zip code and how you spend.
Yep.
So I can look at some. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question, but no, you go ahead and finish your thought first.
I can look at someone's credit file and literally tell you their whole life story. And I'll be probably 89, 90%. And with me knowing that, that's how bankers shift. That's how bankers shape how they're going to loan money to certain people. Now, understand, a lot of people say, well, that's bias, racial bias, we can sue. The bottom line is, once you know the system and how the system works, it is extremely legal. You just have to know that you can't do these things with your credit and to be smarter. Like, let me give you a classic example. If you were to lose your job tomorrow and you have great credit, what would you do? And you won't be able to get a job for the unforeseen future. What would you do?
Probably use your credit cards.
If they tell you in 2 weeks, you're getting ready to get fired in 1 month, and we don't know when we're going to hire you back, what would be the first thing that you would do?
Myself, I probably would, because I have I've been fortunate. I have a home equity line of credit. If I needed to,
okay, I'm gonna take back. You're going about the exact right way. You would pinch off your line of credit, right?
Right, and my home equity line of credit is at like 3.5 or something like that.
Right. See, a lot of people, because you're educated, a lot of people won't. They'll start paying certain stuff. Well, things happen. I didn't have no job. I didn't have no way to pay it. You're receiving a fourth of your income with the unemployment insurance. I had a client that was unemployed for 1.5 years. We restored her and we got her home. And then 7 months she lost her job, and she's like, they're going to fire me in a month. Charles, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want credit to go bad. I said, don't worry about it. She's making a good salary at the time. I was able to coach her to get her a line of credit of, let's say, I think it was like $50,000. So she took her unemployment. She scaled back. We took her cards, and because of her credit was still good, and did what we called a balance transfer on a 0% card. So now she wasn't paying any interest. And we set up her line of credit on an auto pay that was going to eat off of itself, which means the money set in the account, and they took the payment out the exact same account. So her unemployment check went into that account, as well as where the line of credit was going to. So when it paid itself, it ate off some of the unemployment. She was able to sustain her mortgage, pay all of her bills, and even take the interest away from her cards. And she did it for a 1.5 years. until she found a job, and her credit did not suffer. And she was able to still get the favorable employment because of she didn't have bad credit, because they did run a credit check as well. A lot of people will panic when they lose their job, and they think that that's the, they lose their homes, they lose their jobs, they lose their cars. You don't have to do all that. You just have to be smart. A lot of people don't realize that if you pay for every 6 months that you pay on a car loan, you can skip a payment.
I know you got a question, but let me get into two questions to those who are uneducated, Hop. I just want to get to the bare bones of, how this whole thing works and the misconception. So I'm gonna use my son as an example, right? And my son, and this is and I'm not disrespecting him in any way, but this is just the way the average 25-year-old, will think, or the average person who doesn't understand how credit, thinks. And so
right.
And you kind of mentioned it before, their thought process is that they want to look good, or either they panic because they don't have a car and they feel like they need to go to a lot, and then they go to these B lots and they go and they get into these auto track loans or whatever, and their interest rate is crazy out of the roof, and they're paying 3 times more for the car than what it's actually worth. And so my response to my son was look, you don't have a car note right now. Don't go and get and spend all this money on a car trying to pull up because you can't afford it. So my question to you is it better for me to, or for someone in that position, to fix their credit first and then go buy, or is it better to be brainwashed, because that's the word I'm using, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, for you to say, you got your tax returns back, come back, come by now, anybody's approved, we can get anybody financed, and then you're paying all this money trying to get into a car you really can't afford, and the things that the banks and the lenders are telling you, oh, this is the way you fix your credit. Which avenue is it better for someone to take if they're in that scenario?
Understand, whenever you're in a situation where you have a level of vulnerability, the person that seems to be the more intelligent, that doesn't have skin in the game, so to speak, with you, you never want to go that way. I spent 15 years in the automotive industry. I was a GSM when I got out. Finance director, finance manager, did all those things. But I was one of the good guys. I would literally tell people, hey, I would fight for them a better interest rate, some interest rates that they didn't deserve. So no, do not go to a dealership and have them sell you the snake oil, because what's going to happen is they're going to shotgun your credit around. They're going to put countless numbers of inquiries on your credit. Then they're going to tell you that, well, because it was done at the same time, it won't hurt your credit, which is an absolute lie. So if your son is in a situation where he has terrible credit, I would go through and we would do a makeover. We would make sure that all of his addresses match, all of his information is clean, so it doesn't look like he's a vagabond and been jumping around everywhere. Then when we do what we call a restoration, if he is a college grad or 6 months out, I would run him to a Honda dealership, which is going to give him 1.9 on a brand new Honda. And it's not going to be the fly car that a lot of these kids want, but it's going to be dependable transportation that's not going to give them any issues. It's going to have a warranty until they cross over to the next level after they've reached their employment, after they've gotten employment and been out of school. That's what I suggest to all my undergrads. I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Every person that gets ready to graduate undergrad goes through my program absolutely free. I clean all the credit. I make sure the credit is right 7 months out before they start applying for jobs, so they can get the best jobs based upon the credit, because they already have the GPA. A lot of my undergrads are 4.0, 3.89s. So now you're not going to be hampered with the credit. So absolutely you want to go in with the cleanest slate that you can when you're going in and asking these people for their money, because it's their money.
So Hop, let me just say this part, because I kind of let the 2/3 of the black guys kind of get their questions in, but I wanted to say this, man, is that, to tell you, it was Spud and Maynard and everybody else listening to this podcast, the way that I was introduced to Hop was a couple of, we'll just say, very famous recording artists that have sold millions and millions of records. We don't have to say any names. Absolutely. And they said, yo, Lamont, it's this guy named Hop. He's mad cool, whatever. And I had seen him in a few cities across the country. He's always a little fly kid, you know what I'm saying? Always looking a little dapper. And I'm like, okay.
Lamont, you're kind of dapper yourself. Excellent.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah. And then one day, and I will admit, we were in Chicago, and I don't know if you remember this, but we were backstage at the Primatory, whatever you call it.
Yes. The John B. show. I remember.
Yeah. And I finally got up the nerve to talk to this brother and, just tell him some of my concerns. And I will personally say that some of the things that he talked about earlier, and I want him to kind of dive into his program a little bit, is he took my cell phone. He had me log into my own personal credit account or whatever.
Equifax.
Equifax. I don't know what he did, but my score went up in less than 30 days. And I know a couple of the things he said earlier about just cleaning up some of the basic small things like addresses and phone numbers. So what I want you to do is kind of tell people about, your program. Like, how does it work? Like, how do they get in touch with you? What are the steps that they need to take? What do they need to have, together before they call you? Like, just start from the very, very beginning, because I think what you've done thus far is you've dropped a lot of gems, and hopefully people are, they're going to download this episode and play it over and over and over again. But, it's nothing like getting the information directly from the sources, why and how they need to kind of get in touch with you. So just kind of break down your program and how that works.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate the love you showed to me. Here's how the program works, guys. This thing is not designed for us to win. I'm gonna be really frank and clear with you. We have a president that filed bankruptcy 6 times, and he's still a multimillionaire. He's gonna have more money than all of us and his kids and his grandkids and the kids after that. It's not that he's smarter than us. Technically, he is, because he reads. So it's all about information. Okay? So how my program works is based upon the Fair Credit Act and the laws. They have to prove the validity of the accounts that are on your credit. Now, you want accountability. You want proof of your signature. You want proof of an accounting to the letter. If it cannot be proved within the law, they have to remove the account. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people will go on the credit report and say, well, this ain't mine, this ain't mine. That's not going to work. It absolutely won't work, and you'll have your credit file flagged. There's a certain way that you have to dispute certain things. You have to go through your file and make sure everything's reporting correctly. 96% of Americans' credit files are not accurate. And it's bad, because you think about it, when you call Equifax, you call TransUnion, a lot of their they send a lot of their calls and stuff overseas. So there's a lot of gray where it's not reporting correctly. So what I do is, when I take a client, I ask them about their goals and their dreams and what they're trying to do, and I'm very realistic. And just like, and Lamont, if you remember, when you and I talked, I said, based upon what I see and what's going on, this and this is going to happen, and this and this probably won't. But once this happens, you need to build from that and be diligent. Remember I told you that?
Yep,
and then
you
did
did.
What you did. You have to be, if you can't have the same habits that you had prior to meeting me and expect everything to work, you have to be honest with yourself. I'm very honest with every client that I take. What I do is I make every client sign up with monitoring accounts. And the reason why I do is because, men lie, women lie. These accounts don't. It's going to show an accountability of how you handle your business. So if I tell you, hey, you need to keep your credit card limits below 30% so you can reap the benefits of your score rising, and you're not doing that, it's going to tell me right away. Restoring credit and building yourself to be financially stable is a process, and you can't shortcut it, and you have to follow everything to the letter. But what I do with every client, I sit down with every one of them, whether it be by email or by telephone, and I tell them every step of what they need to do. And a lot of times it's not a lot of stuff that they need to do. They just need to change a little bit of their habits. I'm going to go in there and do a lot of work. And I'm up at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, making sure that my clients' lives are changed by what I do. I have the absolute pleasure of waking up every morning when my feet touch the carpet on my home, that I can literally change somebody's financial life, as well as a mental and spiritual life. That's a very powerful tool to me, and I'm very humbled by it. So I take it very seriously. So if I'm sitting here and I'm giving my all, and including some of my private and personal life, the least you can do is be diligent and do the things I ask you to do. So when I take a client, I don't take every client. When I tell them, I say, hey, your life is about to change. I'm going to change your life. Lamont, I told you when I met you, don't worry about it. I said in 30 days, you're going to love me. Because I saw so many errors on your credit. And we were able to restore those things. And I told him that. And he looked at me and he laughed and he kind of blew me off.
No, I said you was lying. I ain't blow you off. I said, man, this dude don't know what he talking about. He said, give me your phone.
But that's
He said, give me your phone. Give me your phone. He took my phone and Maynard Spud. I swear on my mama, I don't know what he was doing. He just started pressing all these buttons. I logged in. He said, Lamont, you're going to get these emails. Now, when you get the emails, don't do nothing. Just be quiet. And that's what I did. And the stuff just dropped off.
We left it up on them to prove the validity of what they said that was transpiring on his credit, and they could not prove the validity. And the stars lined up, and this man's life got better. Like I said, the majority of people's credit files are that way. I'm diligent about that.
Hop, let me ask a question, because we have to. I'm the bad guy here.
Okay, I love it.
We in the black community and people in general. Let me not even blame this on black folks. We can look back right now and say, well, the banks are doing this to me, and the student loans are doing this, and they calling too much or what. But there is still an accountability issue that we have to. We're talking about the errors, and we're talking about maybe challenging some things. But let's talk about the things that we need to do. The simple, smart things we need to do. You don't need that car. Don't buy that car. You don't need to have Michael Kors bag or whatever, and then paying bills. Talk a little bit about paying bills.
Exactly. Classic example. I'm gonna give you a quick example of that. I got a client that I'm working on now. She's co-signed on a car with her brother. The car was totaled out 2 days before the payment was due. Now, you and I both know that even though the car was totaled out, the bank has to pay the insurance company has to pay the car off. She felt like she didn't have to make the payment. I told her, I said, regardless, you need to make that payment. And then when they pay it off, they'll reimburse you that payment. She didn't want to pay it. The car went late, hurt her brother's credit. Now the car's paid out with the insurance company. So then she goes to the dealership and they won't give her the car she wants. The car that totaled out she's trying to get a car that's $5,000 more than the other car. And she goes, well, I don't understand. I said, well, you have a responsibility to still pay that regardless of it being totaled out. The bank has to pay you. You don't want to ruin your credit. A lot of times we will stretch out for instance, if somebody gets a $30 bill on their credit, they'll turn around and say, well, it was only $30. I don't understand why they tricked us about $30. Because it's their money. You owe them their money. You have a responsibility to pay that. So when you go and ask this bank for $5,000 or $10,000, and they look at this petty $30 payment that you didn't pay because you wanted to go into a concert or get a Michael Kors purse, or you just feel like you don't need to pay it, it's petty. It's those people's money. So the bank's like, well, why would I loan you $10,000 or $15,000 when you won't pay $30,000? We have to understand that we have to run our lives as a business. And we've gotten so lax with that because we've been spoiled for 8 years. It's been easy to get financing. We haven't had an interest rate increase in 7.5 years. So we feel like if we come in with a little money and talk a little loud, they'll give us what we want. But we don't understand we're digging a hole for ourselves because we're getting what we want after they've ran our credit 13, 15 times, after they've asked for 15% down when they don't ask someone with good credit down that much money, and they give us an interest rate that's higher. So when they do repo the car, they're in an equity position, whereas our credit is being doomed. But we don't want to take the time to not get that purse or pay that $30 or make sure that our credit reports are accurate or go to a bank like a normal person would and don't ask the dealership to get you a loan. It's kind of like when you ask somebody like you're a child, they're going to treat you like a child. When you come to them like an adult, they got to treat you and respect you like an adult.
Man, you can't bring up child. You can't bring up child and adults today, man. Those are just bad words amongst us today. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
Lamont, can I get my $30 back? Lamont, can I get my $30, man?
Real quick. Before we let you go, Hop, we got 2 questions from, our listeners, and I want to get them in before I let you go. So from Diane Gill, she sent this email at sir@3blackguyswithamic.com, and she said, how important is credit? I took Dave Ramsey's course, and he teaches to cut up your credit cards and pay cash. Is that effective? So that comes from Diane Gill.
David Ramsey is a paid employee of Consumer Credit and the people that run the credit card company. That program is not designed for everybody.
Black folks.
Credit
You
is
can
an
say
absolute
black
must.
folks. You can say black folks. It's not
Credit is
for
an
black
absolute
folks.
must. You have to have credit. You have to have credit in regards to people don't realize that credit is there's a score for your insurance that's based upon your credit. There's a score based upon your credit for utilities, for your home, for your cell phone, for your employment. So they don't tell you that underlining stuff. Why? Because it's systematically controlling how the workforce is going to be laid out. Why would I tell you so you can get educated and get your credit right and bump me out for some affirmative action? Why would I tell you the keys to success? You're not on my agenda. You know what I mean?
Right. Good answer.
Damn.
So credit is an absolute must. It's how they've been moving around amongst us for a lot of years.
See,
You know, they always say,
conspiracy.
Right.
boy, you want to hide the truth? Put it in a book.
All right.
I'm 22 years in this, and I figured it out, and I'm thankful to God that I figured it out, and I'm here to tell anybody and everybody. I'm here to help you guys.
So Hop, we have one other question from I want to make sure we pronounce this right. Charmaine Fryer. That's it?
Robinson.
Yeah, she's from Fayetteville, North Carolina. She says that her credit is stable. She said, I'm paying off student loans, which seems to be boosting my credit score, along with my house note, car note, and credit card bills. She says, not one alone. No, she says she doesn't have any credit cards. Then she says, LOL. And she says, despite the numerous invitations of credit cards I receive weekly, she said, I do have old bills that are paid, but are still out there that are impacting my credit score. I was told that they fall off after 7 years, but they're still there. Do I pay someone to write and have them removed? ?
Two things. The reason why they're still on your credit is because they sell that debt over and over unless it's removed. And then, as we talked about earlier in the podcast, I would say if you don't want to do the diligence of reading up on the Fair Credit Act, Section 609, 608, and 623 of the Fair Credit Act, and if you don't want to fabricate your own credit letters to try to help yourself, then yes, hire somebody. But when you do hire somebody, make sure you go to your state Better Business Bureau site. You research their name. You research and make sure that they are licensed and bonded within the state that you're applying to. A lot of people are, I do credit, but they're not licensed and bonded, nor are they A+ certified with the Better Business Bureau. I'm A+ with the Better Business Bureau. I'm the only one in my state that is A+ certified with the Better Business Bureau. I'm the only one that's African-Americanly owned in my state. Do the research. If you don't want to do the research, to do it yourself. Make sure that the person that you're giving your money to gives you a contract. He discloses your rights as a consumer, because there's a lot of people getting taken advantage of, and a lot of these companies, and I'm going to say this real quick, you see them all the time, that if you pay so much per month, they'll get you done in like 12 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's the game. They hit one or two things a month to keep you going. What are you going to do if you see one or two things come off your credit bureaus? You're going to keep paying, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the average credit restoration company is charging anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000 to the consumer. They're happy because they're seeing one or two things come off. With me, anybody that signs up with my company, I hit everything, all three bureaus at the same time. So the turnaround time is a lot quicker. All these companies can do the same thing I do. It's just they bleed you out to get the most money for the company. So I say to that person, what you need to do is, if you're paying on your student loans, congratulations, that's wonderful and dope. Get your credit restored, and then you're going to apply. Once your credit is at a certain level, apply with Wells Fargo or apply with Citibank, or apply with Discover. They have a 0% card that will take you for 21 months, anywhere from 15 to 21 months at 0%. That will give you a great organic experience with credit and credit cards, and you won't have a high interest rate, so you can understand. It'll kind of start you off with a blue blood, if you will.
Now, Hop, you said that you are licensed and bonded in your state. Can you work with people across the country, or do you have to work with people only in your state?
Well, because my business is in my state, I'm licensed and bonded in my state, but I'm nationwide. I can work with anybody nationwide.
Okay.
But if your business is in your state, you have to be licensed within that state.
All right, cool. Hop, we truly appreciate, you taking the time and dropping some jewels on us and educating our listeners because, this is important. And, when Lamont brought it to the table, we were all like, oh, we don't know about that. But, he did the right thing because it is important for us to, continue to be educated and especially to get the answers that, we don't know. Because, again, a lot of us, we sit and we watch television or we listen to the radio or we get all these different misconceptions and we don't get the truth behind some of the answers that are already out there. And, we continue to stay in this situation because, like you said, you put it in a book, they don't want you to know, basically. So we truly appreciate it. If you can, give out the website, the Facebook page, and the phone number, for people to get in contact with you if they want to, hire you to help clean up their credit, that would be fantastic. We'd love to, share that information with our listeners.
I want to extend this out to you guys, and you guys will figure this out amongst you. Mm-hmm. Because of how deep and how needed this situation is. And you can figure out this contest or how you're going to do it. For your listeners, if everybody's listening right now, I will give a free credit makeover on all 3 credit bureaus as well as coaching for a 12-month period to anybody that the 3 black guys with a mic picks. And then you're going to be obligated to come back on the show and tell it how it changed your life. I'll do it absolutely free. The only thing that they will have to pay for is the monitoring accounts, which is $37 a month. So your whole life can be changed for $37 And I'll do that absolutely free. And you guys pick whoever it is, but they are obligated to come back and feed the well to your listeners as well as you guys on how this changed their life. We cannot get to a place where we need to get to if somebody doesn't put us on the right path for the journey. And this is what my life is dedicated to and to do.
That's
exactly what I'm saying.
That's a real big step. That's excellent.
Yeah. We appreciate that, man. Thank you so very much. We'll definitely, reach back out to you and let you know who we picked and give you their information. And we'll definitely have them on and, have you back on with them as well. So you can, also tell us about the process and how you helped them out. So, Hop, we truly appreciate the time, my brother.
Check me out on Facebook. That's Show, SHOWAND, Credit Repair, LLC out of Oklahoma City. Or my personal page, Charles Hopgood, HOPGOOD II. Guys, thank you so much for having me on. Lamont, I appreciate you. God bless one and all.
All right, man.
Mr. Hopgood,
thank you, sir.
Sir.
All right.